I'm on day 6 of my semen retention streak, and I have gained a lot of my energy back, even though I'm still on medicine. So I just wanted to make this update, and I've also written down 2 sentences that I would like to talk about. And welcome to all the new subscribers. It's awesome to have you here. So the first thing I thought about was, once you open the door, you can never close it again. And that's a metaphor, of course, for many things. It can be a good door, or it can be a bad door. So what I mean is that we are often in our comfort zone, where we know everything. All the doors are open, we know what's behind the door. And once we know what's behind different doors in different areas of our own lives, of our own life, then it can never close again. We will always remember what is behind that door, whether it be something in your career, a friend someone you don't like, a hobby you like that you have tried. It could be playing golf. You know how to play golf. You know how to swing the club. You know the feeling of hitting the ball, or talking with some of your golf friends. It could be working out. You know how to lift the weights. But before you tried golf or you tried lifting weights, you didn't know. And somehow you ended up trying it. It could be a friend led you down that path. But it's just that door was closed before you had to open it. And now you know what it is. Now what happens sometimes is that we are content with the doors that we have in our life, and we don't want to open any more doors. But I think this is a trap. I think it's important that we try to open new doors in our life, and that's the good doors. Trying out new skills. Like I'm learning carpentry now, and I'm learning so many things besides the carpentry skills. I'm also learning to be very thorough when I measure things, when I use the saw or the hammer or all the power tools. Because if I don't take my time, I'm going to fail. I'm going to not make the exact measures that I have to take. But, I almost didn't go for the carpentry. But I'm very glad I did. Now that I've opened the door, I'm starting to see many patterns with how things are being built, how I want to repair. I have some roof on a shed in my summer house that I need to fix if I want to sell that somehow. I'm learning new people. All those individual people that I'm becoming friends with now, they were closed doors. But now I know these people. So now the door is open and it can never be shut again. That's the good things. Now the bad doors, which can never be shut again. That's the addictions. So pornography. Because I tried pornography when I was young. That was the moment where the door had been opened. And I know that it can never be shut again. I may never watch it again ever in my life, but I will always be tempted, more or less. And for some people, it's alcohol. That's why alcoholics, even though they are, what's it called? Like they are not active alcoholics, they say, I am an alcoholic for life. Because you have to acknowledge the sort of addiction that you have so that you don't fall into it again. Because once we get on a long streak of semen retention or a long streak of not drinking alcohol, doing drugs, eating cake every day, not doing that, the ego starts to take over. And we think we are the kings or the queens of the world and that we have conquered all of this. And it's so easy not to fall back in. And that's when we start to relax a little bit too much, let our guard down. And that's when the addictions and all these bad habits and thoughts and low self-worth and just all this bad stuff, it starts to sneak in. And before you know it, it like grabs you. And that's what I've experienced so many times. And even if I consciously say to myself, I say it out loud, I have to be aware of my ego not like taking over. It still takes over sometimes. Now, I've been on several 100 plus day streaks of semen retention. And it still gets to me. And I see it on many Reddit posts and I see it on YouTube comments. When the ego takes over and it's not compassion or discussion, or just having an interesting talk with people. It's another person like using dogma, like saying their truth like it is in a universal truth. And I've been in many arenas where I felt like an expert, but then a few years later, I realized that it was just bullshit. I was just so heavily committed to this area of life that I had this, what do you call it, confirmation bias. So everything I saw somehow confirmed what I thought, what I believed to be true, because that's what I wanted to be true. So again, that was just my ego talking, my ego wanting to stay in this identity that we had built. And you see this, people like living one specific identity, like they are that person. They strongly believe to be this type of person. Yeah. I just wanted to mention that. And I'm also mentioning this to myself. Now, the next sentence is, you have free will. Use it or lose it. So I think it's important to exercise this free will and enter these different arenas where we feel like a beginner. We have to open new doors, and we have to use our free will to access those doors. Because it's going to be scary and it's going to feel like we are imprisoned in a certain area of life. But in reality, we aren't. We just strongly believe that things can only be one certain way. That's where we have to exercise our free will to break open some new doors, to seek some new doors, some new areas in life where we can journey, like go on an adventure. Yeah. I'm still getting this apartment set up, and I'm still getting used to it, and I'm still, it takes some time to get it all set up. But it's already been 4 days, and last upload I was a mess. But I'm getting better, and it's going in the right direction. I'm already feeling much, much better than 4 days ago. So that's all for me, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.